Hello everyone, my name is Bushra Karamat and you are watching BKGFSI Services. Today we will discuss HACCP Part 3 and in this video we will cover the rest of HACCP study. So the main outline is we will cover CCP OPRP decision tree, then CCP OPRP plan and the final will record keeping. In HACCP Part 2 I have discussed in detail how to analyze hazards. Any one of you have not seen that video, then go first see HACCP Part 2, then came here and continue with Part 3. So in today's video, I will discuss how to determine CCPs. So let's discuss all the points one by one. I have finished in my last video in that format which we have completed. So after filling that, we will come up with insignificant and significant hazards. So I just complete the two steps so we can go with the next step. So after analyzing hazards, we come up with significant and insignificant hazards. The CCP and OPRP are only applicable on the significant hazards, not the insignificant one. So once you came up with significant hazards, pass them through decision tree to determine CCP and OPRPs, whether the significant hazard is associated CCP or OPRP. So this is the format, you can copy it exactly. It's based on the Codex Alimentarius principles and also complying with the requirement of all GFSI standards. So let's fill it. Need to mention the significant hazards here, the step number, and then receiving what was the hazard and risk level. So let's discuss the question 1, how we will fill it. So question 1 is, do preventive control measure does exist? We need to answer the question. So my answer is yes, preventive control measure does exist. If my answer is yes, then you need to move to question 2. Is this step specifically designed to reduce or eliminate the likely occurrence of a hazard to acceptable level? So the answer is no. This step is not defined for that purpose. So the if answer is yes, then it will be a CCP. You can directly mention it as CCP. If no, then you move to question 3. The question 3 is, could contamination with identified hazards occur in excess of acceptable level, or could these increases to unacceptable level? So the answer is yes. If answer is yes, then move to question 4. Will a subsequent step will eliminate identified hazard or reduce occurrence to acceptable level? If yes, then it's not a CCP. Then what it is? It is OPRP. So my answer is yes, it is OPRP, not a CCP, because we can still control in the next level. So the next step is step number 3, which is baking, and the type of hazard biological, risk level is 12. So again we need to answer all this question and identify whether it's CCP or OPRP. So these are my answers and the final answer is no. So it's a CCP. So once you identified or determined the CCPs and OPRPs, you need to make a control plan against them. Till now we have done with the determination of critical control points. The next step is critical limits, which we will cover in our action plan. So to cover rest of the points, I made this very summarized and brief template in which we will cover CCP OPRP limit. So in this by following this format, you will cover OPRP CCP limit. Second is monitoring procedure. Third is correction and corrective actions. Fourth is verification, and the fifth point and the last principle of the HACCP is record keeping and documentation. So let's fill it. You need to mention all CCP and OPRPs here, and then mention. Now the next step is define limits so we can control this hazard at this point. So at the time of baking, there are two critical limits. One is time and second is temperature. Then we need to make a monitoring procedure. Who will monitor? The baker. What? Time and temperature. When? Every batch. And how? temperature with thermometer and time from our display. In case of deviation, what will be our correction or corrective actions? So first we will adjust the time and temperature, then reject under, if the product is underbaked, then we need to reject underbaked or is burnt, then we need to reject the product and then take further action as per non-conforming product handling procedure. So after monitoring and corrective actions, what will be a record keeping? It's time and temperature monitoring sheet. Then the verification procedure, verification done by QA, and how during monthly audits, and what will we do, verify the time and temperature. The verification frequency I have mentioned monthly, but you can decide as per your company's procedure. In some companies the verification is done on the daily basis. And the last point is record keeping, which is audit report. So today's video we have discussed all the points: hazard analysis, critical control points, establish limits, we have established monitoring procedure, and then we have established corrective actions, then we have established verification procedure, and the last is record keeping and documentation. If you want more details on record keeping and documentation, then I can make another video on your request. Just write on the comments. And yes, thank you so much, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe my channel.